Hello, welcome to the channel today. Thought I'd do kind of a quick overview of my game room TV as configured currently. I'll get to this later on, but I'm currently considering making a change. But anyway, just thought I would kind of do a quick overview of the TV, talk about what it is, primary usages, some settings, and things like that. So, this is the 75-inch Sony x950g. I believe it was the flagship 4K TV, LED TV for Sony in 2019. I've had it since then. I've really enjoyed having this TV over the past few years. Have not had any issues with it or anything like that. The only reason why I'm considering a change is that there's a couple of things about it that I really want to take advantage of, such as like 4K 120 and things like that. So anyway, I'll kind of get into what I have hooked up to it currently, what I use it for, things like that. So if we look at the inputs down here on HDMI 1, it just says game because right now I have an Xbox Series X hooked up to this input. I hardly ever use the Xbox, honestly. The only time I turn it on is whenever I'm going to play maybe a little Forza, something like that, like what you see on the screen right now. Other than that, it stays off. HDMI 2, I have the PS5. Now, this is what I use currently for this TV the majority of the time. I would probably put it at like 90% of the time this TV is on. The PlayStation 5 is being used, then maybe 9% for this Apple TV over here, and 1% for the Xbox. As you can see, I've got the Apple TV 4K on here, so I'll kind of go through these individually. So right now, settings for the Xbox, even though I don't use it very much, this doesn't have like ALLM kicking in necessarily because it's not a Sony product, I'm guessing, but we'll kind of hop into the settings real quick. The auto picture, well, maybe if I turn this on, light sensor is off. For brightness, one of the things about LEDs that you may or may not be aware in comparison to technology such as like OLED is that LEDs inherently will have blooming. So that's when you have a completely, say, black background and you have a bright white logo. You know, like maybe when the PlayStation 5 loads up, you have that PS symbol in the middle. You'll see kind of a blooming effect around that, or like white effect around it. It's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, I have my brightness settings set up this way to try to mitigate, to try to have a good balance between mitigating the blooming as much as possible, but also taking advantage of the LED's capabilities of being brighter and vibrant. So I have it on max for brightness. Contrast, I left at 90. Gamma's at 0. Black level at 50. Black adjust on high. Now this is where the settings get interesting as far as really changing how the picture looks. So black adjust on high. If I go actually and turn this off, now I don't know how well this is picking up on camera, but when I flip through this off and then go right back to on or high, I could see a big difference as far as like a darkening effect. I have this on high to try and help with the blooming on those dark backgrounds. Contrast enhancer, I leave this on low. This setting and this setting, this dynamic range, if I put those both on high, it really blows out the image. It gets a lot brighter than it is right now, but it really blows out the image. So I have this on low. Local dimming, I do leave it on high. And as I said, I actually have this off because if I crank it up, again, I don't know how well this is translating on camera, but in person, it's a massive difference in brightness between high and off. So I leave it off. Color, I'm sure I'll catch some flack in the comments for this, but my settings as far as my game consoles versus my content consumption as far as like movies and things like that are going to look quite a bit different. So for color, I did bump that up a little bit to 65. Hue I left to 0. Color temp. If you want something going more towards accuracy, you probably want to move over to Expert 1. But for gaming, I want that brighter, vibrant, likely inaccurate look. That just looks better to me for the games. So I have that at neutral. And I did crank up live color to high. As we go along, clarity, sharpness, I didn't touch. Reality creation, this says manual 10. I don't believe I've touched that. That's fine. These are grayed out. So it does look like the gaming, the game mode has disabled these. Smooth gradation, I have it on low, and I don't really in person see any kind of posturization or banding in bright skies when I'm panning, so that's good. Let's see, motion. These should be disabled for the most part, I believe, for gaming. And if they're not, then I don't really mess with those for games. These are all set to auto. And then advanced color adjustment. I don't think I touched anything in here. So just to kind of get a view, I'm in a semi-dark room right now. The blinds are closed. It is the daytime, the middle of the day. Bright day outside, but the lighting here is fairly dark. And as you can see, it looks pretty good to me. I don't know how well it's translating on camera, but I feel like overall it looks pretty good. Moving on, we'll hop over to the PlayStation 5. The settings will probably look fairly similar. We'll go ahead and hop in here. Okay, that picture mode is off, so that didn't have anything to do with it. Light sensor is off. Brightness, so similar to the other one, max, 90 for contrast, gamma's at 0, black level I left at 50. I have black adjust on high on this one, contrast enhancer on low, local dimmings on high, and dynamic range is off. Color, similar to the other one, 65 here, neutral color, temperature, and the live colors on high. And I believe all the rest of these will be the same. Let's see, looks like it, yeah. Yep. And with these settings, I feel like for my personal taste, it has a pretty good balance of, you still get the brighter vibrancy of the LED, but at the same time, you're not blowing out the image and have blooming galore that's extremely distracting, especially if I'm playing like a story-driven game or something like that. You can see from my games up here, I play a pretty good mixture in the game room. See, I have Call of Duty here. It's got the new Madden. Looks fantastic on this TV. Have Uncharted. And recently just beat this game. I know it's been out a while. This game looks great. As you can see, the colors just look fantastic for this TV. So, and then next input, I've got my ARC set up with the Sony DH790 receiver. And then on this input, I have the Apple TV. And this is where I'll do my content consumption. So, I use this primarily. I watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, HBO Max, etc. And the settings on this one, I have the 2 extra picture modes unlocked, as you can see. And the first thing you'll probably notice is that brightness is very low. And the reason is when I have the brightness cranked up along with some of these other settings, the TV is extremely bright, but I just don't like how the image looks. And kind of like what I mentioned with the gaming, I try to have a balance of the brightness, but not have blooming just crazy. So I have those off. Brightness, again, I have it turned way down because the higher this goes along with the other settings, it really blows out the image and the blooming becomes extremely distracting. Contrast left at 90. Now gamma, now I think this is a bug if I remember right. It says I should be at -2. I keep it at 0. Keeps the image a little bit brighter, but I think this is supposed to be at 0, that line. Black level 50, didn't touch that. Black adjust I have off. Contrast enhancer I have a low. Local dimming on high, and dynamic range on low. For color, looks quite a bit different than my gaming setup. I have it on the factory 50, didn't touch that. Hue at 0. Color temp at expert 1. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of this at first. I had it on neutral and I had some of the other color things cranked up, but the more content I watched after moving it to expert 1 and lowering a few things, I really have grown to like the image, especially while watching movies. As you can see, I did leave live color on high. I know other people with Sony TVs will turn this off for the best accuracy and all of that. I like to leave it on high. That's just my preference. Moving along, clarity, sharpness, didn't touch that. Reality creation, I actually have this on auto. TV does a great job with upscaling and things like that of content. These I have off, and then gradation is on low. For motion, highly subjective topic here. From my personal taste, I have it on 2 and clearness on 1. Which does introduce a little bit of soap opera effect. If you're highly sensitive to soap opera effect, you're probably not going to want to have clearness on 1. You'll probably have smoothness at 1 and clearness at 0, or off, or min is what they call it. I like a little bit of soap opera effect, and it's just enough that it's not distracting for me. And the images in movies and the processing and all of that is extremely smooth, so I really like it. I do have Cinemotion on off though. Video signal, I don't do anything here. In color adjustment, I don't do anything here. So as I said, I just wanted to kind of do an overview of the TV that I have in my game room currently. It's been in here for a few years, like I said. Really have enjoyed this TV. It's been fantastic. I did mention that I am considering changing TVs, upgrading or whatever. This TV, especially since it's primarily used for gaming, Call of Duty, things like that. One thing it's really missing is the 4K 120 hertz or 120 FPS. This TV does thankfully do 1080 120, which is how I have the PS5 set up currently. So like if I hop into Call of Duty, the screen is going to flash off because it's going from 4K down to 1080. So I'll put that up here at the bottom. So it has 1080 120. Let's take that off here. So you'll kind of get an idea of, I don't know if it's really translating on camera, but you'll get an idea of how my settings affect the blooming and things like that as we get the loading screen on this. But like I was saying, the main reason why I'm looking to possibly upgrade is because this TV doesn't do 4K 120. I really want that. And then also, recently, or not recently, I've had it for maybe 6 months or so now, but our living room TV setup is an OLED, and we really enjoy the OLED, and so I'm considering making my new game TV an OLED, and I have some options I'm considering for that, to get that infinite contrast and no more blooming. And yeah, I know it won't get as bright, but as you can tell with how I have the settings, the brightness is not the most important thing for me. The balance is. So anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Just wanted to kind of do an overview of this TV. I'd be curious to know, drop a comment if you've had this TV or if you have it currently, how is it treating you? tell me what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Also, if you did enjoy the video at all, consider subscribing and liking and clicking the bell notification for new videos. I will have more videos coming of the other TVs and what their usages are and things like that and the settings on those. So again, thanks for watching.